Hello and welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today with stage 24 of the Hachette Partworks release of Build the U96 U-boat. So what are we doing in stage 24? It is the forward control board, the front PCB, which will basically control all the functions, the anchor, the front hydroplane, and obviously the lighting. So, oh, and don't forget the torpedo bay doors. So without further ado, let's have a look and see what's in the pack. Okay, so here are the parts for stage 24. And what we have here is we have an LED, we have yet another LED, we have a third LED, and we have a fourth LED. Now it's shrink wrapped in red because it's a red one. We have a packet of ye old screws, only one type this time, they're AP screws. We have the printed circuit board. We have the mounting plate for the PCB. We have some labels to put on the LED cables, and we have a clip to kind of keep the cables in place for a bit of wire tidy. And we have a bit of paper, just making sure there's nothing under that. So the first thing it wants us to do is to test all these LEDs before we go to the effort of plugging them all in. So unwrap the LED cables. Now say 3 of them are exactly the same, so they'll all be labelled L1. One of them is red, as I've mentioned. It'll be labelled, I think it's L2, and I'm not sure what S1 is. It must be whatever other cable we haven't already labelled. I think it's the rainbow cable, if I remember correctly from what I've seen. Okay, so we need our battery pack. We need to unplug it from the test board it was plugged into previously. And the battery pack, oh no, nope, sorry, we are still using the test board we used previously. Silly me. Of course, because we don't have anything to control the control board as yet. So put the batteries back in. They are just terrible, cheap pound shop batteries at the moment. So again, line up the pins with the holes in the plug. Yep, we can see that one works. I'm not plugging them all the way in because it's quite a snug fit. Okay, now test this one. You can see that lights up too. And the final white LED, again, that lights up nicely. And finally, the red one. Now, just as a point of interest, if any of these were going to blow due to high voltage, it's going to be the red one, because for some reason they're more sensitive to high voltage. But now you can see there, it lights up quite nicely. So good. All my LEDs work. I'm just going to disconnect that battery because there's no power off button, which is a bit frustrating, but hey ho. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is line the PCB up with the board cover. Now it will only go on one way. It goes on just like that. You can see the board, although there's a slope there, the board itself isn't sloped. So, okay. Then we need to take 4 of the supplied AP screws. I'm just going to get them all out, bar the spare one. 4 of the AP screws, and we're going to secure the board to the board holder. And again, you don't want to be too rough with it, because I say you don't want to crack the board. And it is plastic going into plastic, sandwiching a plastic board. So yeah, you want to be careful with it. And just 4 screws, 1 on each corner of the mounting plate. You can see there all the plugs come through the other side. Now these holes are quite snug, so as you're tightening it you can actually hear the screw going through the board, and it makes a horrible, horrible sound. Do not like. And the final screw. Going in there. Just like that. So you can see 4 screws in there, and that holds the board in. Just like that. Now the next thing we need, let's say I keep these aside in case we need any wire tidies later on, but they have been quite good and supplied us with one. But now we need to bring the assembly from last time. I'm going to sit her like that so you can see the cables that we have here. That one's coming out of its holder, see? Terrible. Okay, and now what we're going to do is, with the big plug facing towards the bow, it's going to go on top of these 2 pins, just here and here, and that's going to be secured on with the other 2 AP screws. Again, just be careful because the plastic bit you're screwing into isn't all that well supported on the inside. Perfect. So that's that in. Okay, then what we're doing is taking the red LED, and as I mentioned, picking up the labels, we're looking for the label L2. Peel that off and put it around the bottom. Now it gives you a very precise measurement of 8mm from the plug. That looks about right to me. I'm not going to sit and measure it. And then the other 3 cables, the black ones, they all get labelled with the L1 labels in much the same fashion. There we go. Again, these are entirely so that when you're looking at plugs later on, you know which plug does what. And trust me, it's not so bad on the front boards. At least with Bismarck it wasn't, but with Bismarck you had the superstructure and everything, which yeah, had quite a lot of wires and lights and things that did different things coming down from it, wires, lights, motors. So yeah, it was very, very important that you didn't, you know, mislabel anything. Okay, so the one that's not labelled is this one. That was for the limiting switch, and that's the one that we're going to be fitting S1 around. Okay, so again, that's this one here, and we're just going to wrap this label around said cable. Perfect. Okay, so now if we tilt this up slightly so you can see what I'm doing, we're taking the red LED and pushing it into this hole here. Now it should fit snug, but not too snug, if that makes sense. It should go in, but it should go in nice and easily. There we go. It does indeed. quite put it in at the angle I want it, so I'm going to turn it a little bit. Okay, and then these cables go down through this grip just there. You can see like that. Oh, in fact, no, you have to leave a gap between that and the last one to the left. Okay, so don't put anything in that slot there. You can see that's to be left empty for now. Okay, and again, that one has come out of its slot. I'm going to push it back in a little bit. Okay. Alrighty, and then if in that hole there that you can just see, we are putting this white LED, and the cable is being trailed through that topmost sleeve there, then through the topmost sleeve here, and then down through that hole that we left vacant last time. So it's going along there, just like that. Okay. Then the next one is again white LED. It's going in just here. It's a bit stiffer. 2 seconds. There we go. Again, trail the wire down and into that grip, and the final LED goes in there. Like that, and the wires go through this grip here. So there should be one grip at the end which has no wires in it as yet. Now it's just a case of plugging all these in. So reading the labels, look for the 3 that are labelled L1, and they plug into these 3 ports here. So again, just look to see where the connector is. So L1, that's L2, that's an L1, and that's an L1. So again, you're probably best to go with the one that's furthest away. And plug it in to this port. Then this one here plugs in next to it. Then this one here plugs in next to that. Like that. Then the L2 cable plugs in right at the very end, like that. Then the one labelled M1, which is this one here, it goes right in at the very end to that socket there. That one's a bit tighter stretch because it's coming right from the front of the ship. Okay. Then this long ribbon cable goes into that port there, number 7. Again, that's quite a stretch. That's probably the one you're going to have the most difficulty with, because it's routed underneath the section that we mounted in stage 20. So if you're going to have problems with any of them, I assume it's going to be that one. Then the one that's labelled M3 goes into that port just there. Again, it's a tight squeeze as well. In fact, hold on. It's a bit easier because I was trying to put it in the wrong way around there. There we go. Then finally the limiter switch plugs in to that end port just there. Port number 9 it's labelled. Again, it might be a bit of a stretch, but it does go like that. Now that's, I think you'll agree, a bit of a mess. So what we have to do is gather all the wires together, then clip them into this, which is a double-sided sticky pad on it. So all the wires should go into this clip. Now you're probably best to do them one at a time. Yep, there we go. And once you've got the big rainbow one in, the rest of them should go in reasonably easily. And once they're in, that gets attached into that side wall just to keep them all nice and secure, because obviously we're going to have a side panel on here, so the wires are going to need to be a bit tidier, like that. Perfect. So yeah, just smooth them all down, make sure none of them are overly taut, and that should be us. We have, I'll turn it around to show you, the wiring and the circuit board for the forward section. And that's all there is to do in stage 24, and that's all there is to do in the whole of pack 6. I think that looks fantastic. And again, turn it around and see that internal section here, and if we bring it over, you've got that internal section there, which looks just like that. I think that looks awesome, don't you? Amazing. So that's us done for stage 24. We don't know what's coming in stage 25 because, as I say, the next pack hasn't been released and it won't be out for a few weeks yet. But yeah, so that's what we were working on for the majority of this pack, is kind of crew quarters, sleeping area sort of bit. And then, of course, we did all the wiring and the control board for the front of the ship in there. Again, I just think that looks great, and obviously this bit here will sit about there-ish, and that's kind of what you're going to be looking at. I just think it looks awesome. She looks absolutely phenomenal. Really, really chuffed with that. So yeah, thanks as always for watching. Any feedback, comments, criticisms, drop them down below. Do leave me a like and a comment, and do consider subscribing to the channel. It does help out massively, and it will let you catch the rest of the U-boat, the rest of the Titanic, and the 1966 Batmobile too. But yeah, again, thanks for watching, and as always, peace out everyone.